Welcome back to vDiscovery Product Showcase. Today we're going to show off a tool that we call VECA, which is Very Early Case Assessment. This is a tool that we built because we handle a lot of digital forensic images. And what we found was that we would often go back and forth with a bunch of reports and spreadsheets with our clients and try to figure out what files need to be processed and promoted into Relativity and what files need to be excluded. It was a very difficult process. So what we ended up doing was creating a Relativity user interface and a proprietary connector between Relativity and our forensic software that allows us to take the work product that's generated by our clients in Relativity and synchronize the data back to the forensic software so that we don't have to do any highlighting of Excel spreadsheets and trying to figure out which files and folders need to be promoted. It can all just be done seamlessly and automatically, taking out any human error and automating the entire process. So, taking a look at what we see when we first log into our VECA demo, to avoid going back and forth with our clients, trying to highlight spreadsheets and identify what files and folders and file extensions are on the drive, what we've done is we've used the power of Relativity and the features that are built in there to be able to interact with it in a similar way that you'd be interacting with your file system. So for example, if you look over on the left-hand side, we have the Relativity folder structure, and we can see here that we have access to all of the different folders within the drives that we've collected. And what we can see over here on the right is we're using the Relativity dashboard function to give you a visualization of those functions. So for example, we've got the file extensions. We can see, in this case, how many PDFs, text files, documents. We also have the file counts table. These are all customizable too, so we can actually build different dashboards and customize them for our clients' and user experiences. And we also have the ability to graph out our files over time. So you can actually interact with the timeline the same way that you would with any other timeline in Relativity. And then at the bottom we have our listing of our files, and this would be equivalent to almost kind of having your spreadsheet if you're used to going back and forth on those. What's nice about the interaction that we've built here is that we actually have pre-built certain file type filters, including common file types and email file types, to allow our end users to drill down into the documents that are going to be the most relevant to them on the hard drives. We don't necessarily want to see all the executables and DLL files and all of that, so we allow them to quickly pull from the drop-down and choose, for example, email file types, common file types, or just to view all the documents that exist there. These are customizable lists, and our end users are able to customize them themselves, or we can add additional file extensions for them. This is also interactive. What's nice here is I can get these to refresh just by drilling down into the folder that I'm interested in. So for example, if I go into a user folder and click on that user folder, I will get an update that will show me all of the file extensions that that user has, the date range, the file extensions, etc., all using Relativity's built-in filters. I can actually drag and drop over a date range if I'm interested and get a zoomed in version of all of that as well. And as you can see, it's the same as you're used to with Relativity. Those filters are put in on the left-hand side, and I can turn them on and off as needed and see exactly what I'm dealing with. So for example, let's say I zoomed into this user's folder. I've selected the common file types. I now see a list of those common file types, and now I can go through and say, okay, I know that I'm really only interested in PDF and Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, and so we're going to go and kind of scroll through these really quickly and say, you know what, I think this is all I'm interested in taking a look at right now. We can go ahead and hit apply on that. You can see it's added it to our search filter so we can adjust it later if we need to. We have all the same visualizations, and we have our files down here. We can see that this has narrowed it down to about 2,226 files. And now I have the ability to go in here and just tag them as I would mass tag any files. So I can go ahead and I say I want to include these, and when I tag these to be included, these will then be promoted for review by integrating with the digital forensic software that we use in order to store those images and then flag them for processing. So this is an effective tool to analyze the forensic images that you've collected, figure out what you need and what you don't need, and because they're all logged in Relativity and tagged as either excluded for a certain reason or included for a certain reason, you have a nice ability to defend your work and say that we've excluded these files because of the folder that they're in or because of the date range that they occurred in, or we've included these files because they were this extension, etc. So the fact that you have all that logging, it makes that process a lot more defensible. Should somebody question how you did your initial culling on your data, it's a lot more than just saying, well, you know, we had an Excel spreadsheet, we went through, we kind of highlighted files, we gave it to somebody else to try to figure out which files we highlighted. That's a very error-prone process. That's a lot less defensible than being able to actually almost create like a privlog of what you've produced and what you've held back. So that's VECA, and we hope you guys get a chance to try it out with your next forensic collection. If you want to use VECA, reach out to a project manager on your next matter that includes forensic collections, and we'd be happy to set up a demo, walk you through a more detailed description of how the product works, show you some of the extra bells and whistles, and hopefully it's a useful tool for you guys.